Okay. Good morning, all. My name is Gurmeet Ghera, as Mike introduced. The last month I was with City of Winnipeg, just moved to Vancouver, but I will be talking about City of Winnipeg's Building Energy Disclosure Project today. Uh, Agenda for my presentation, briefly introduce the Climate Action Plan, what we'll go through the project overview of the Building Energy Disclosure Project, or the BEDP, objectives of the project, some program details, including what issues we faced and how we tackled those, followed by program results and some learnings and the next steps under the program. So Winnipeg Climate Action Plan was unanimously approved by the City Council in September 2018. It has 7 strategic opportunities and more than 140 actions identified. And the targets for GHG emission reductions are set for 20% by 2030 and 80% by 2050 as compared to 2011 emissions, 2011 community emissions. Buildings in Winnipeg contribute about 35% of the total emissions, and the city aims to limit the increase in these emissions. Various actions under different strategic opportunities of the Climate Action Plan identify benchmarking and energy labeling as some actions that we need to do. And this project is one such initiative under those actions and strategic opportunities. So through its Office of Sustainability and a financial contribution from Natural Resources Canada, the City of Winnipeg launched an energy and greenhouse gas emissions benchmarking and disclosure project. The project is open to commercial and institutional buildings above 20,000 square feet. This limit is a bit strict for commercial side, but we were more flexible on institutional sector, considering a lot of their buildings are or can be smaller than this size. Main objectives of the program are to help Winnipeg building owners better understand their energy use and overall performance, support opportunities for accessing and implementing GHG emissions reduction through data collection and sharing, spark further dialogue, innovation, and action on energy efficiency, and foster a culture of benchmarking and transparent data transparency throughout the city. So this is the project flowchart for year 1, how it went. The project was officially launched in June 2020. Launch was preceded by engagement with internal city departments through internal city department and through an external advisory committee, as well as one-to-one talks with key individual stakeholders, key important stakeholders. Outreach and recruitment for the project was done over a span of 6 to 7 months. And as buildings were participating, their data was being cleaned and verified. We were disclosing them simultaneously on our online disclosure map. We ran some engagement in the fall, including an industry engagement event and participant workshop on benchmarking and Energy Star Portfolio Manager. This was followed by energy performance scorecards for individual buildings. I will be talking about this a little further in the presentation. And the city is currently working on a final year 1 detailed report and some recognition in the terms of top performers and case studies in that final report. So we found that engagement can be a crucial success and a very important thing for the success of a voluntary benchmarking program. We started the program with some internal consultation to gauge the level of support that we can get from different departments. We engaged our building manager and engineering department to see if they can help us provide some resources for free Energy Star certification that can act as an incentive for the participant. We also talked to permitting and taxation department to see what kind of data do they have in terms of building types and sizes. This can help establish minimum square footage for participation. Uh, Resources were stretched thin in these departments, and the way data was collected by taxation was not really helpful for us. But it's worth exploring when anybody starts forming their benchmarking program. External advisor committee was also established to guide and give input on the project framework. It consisted of private sector uh, private sector champions and building energy professions such as BOMA. Uh, Province was included, school divisions were included, universities. So it was a big advisory committee. We recruited some early champions from organizations that were already benchmarking. They were enrolled in the project to help build momentum and, moreover, to make new participants feel at ease and not get scared of the unknown and the disclosure mapping. We added disclosure to this project, and that was a step in data transparency, and sometimes participants can be a little bit skeptical on that step. Uh, on the We had engagement was well taken by public sector, but had some pushback from the private sector. Concerns such as why is the city doing this, why the city needs our data, how will the buildings be compared fairly, these kinds of questions were raised, and we try to address them in as logical and rational way as we can. We try to address concerns were addressed by aligning with national and provincial policies, such as the Pan-Canadian framework that talks about energy labeling in the future. The province is also moving towards expanding benchmarking. Currently, all province of Manitoba's building have to report their energy and GHG emissions, and it is safe to assume that this will only expand in the future. And on top of it, we want City to act as a leader in energy benchmarking and disclosure too. Uh, it was also observed that training and support is very much necessary, especially for new users or new portfolio manager users or people who are new in the benchmarking sphere. We created extensive supporting documents and guiding documents, such as Guide to Use Portfolio Manager. We had a detailed project guide, but it was observed that people and organizations, they sometimes look for quick answers rather than going through the guide and detailed manuals. So this might seem like a small issue, but this can make a difference in the uptake rate. A lack of quick responses and support make participation for some organizations go on the back burner. So proper training and support is necessary for a program like this. Uh, Making clear that the data that they will be providing to us will be used for the project and project only, and no organization will be put forward in a negative light. Again, since disclosure was involved, we had to reassure our participants a number of times that the data is just for the project, and we're not here to, you know, put you, like I said, in a negative light. Uh, Training and engagement sessions were very well received, especially by the new users. And we tried to make scorecards as easily understandable by non-technical staff too. And that was also very well received when we prepared our scorecards. So in year one, we had 161 buildings registered and disclosing their data. Represented by 15 separate organizations. Participation was diverse, including commercial offices, schools, museums, arenas, and other building types. All properties have been plotted on the project's disclosure map, and it has search filters by building category, property type, square footage, and key performance metrics such as Energy Star score, greenhouse gas emission intensity were also plotted for all buildings, as you can see in this map. These are some key initiative statistics and project results. The distribution of energy use was fairly evenly split between electricity and natural gas, whereas almost all the emissions being weighted towards natural gas. This is due to the super low carbon grid that Manitoba Hydro provides. We also did some comparisons in terms of building types and how they are performing in terms of energy use intensity, greenhouse gas intensity. Analysis like these, we feel that can help create local archetypes in the future and help inform policy development too. Uh, Individual energy performance scorecards were created for all participants, comparing them to buildings in the same category, as well as giving historic GHG and energy performance data. Page 2 of the scorecard told what steps you need to take, followed by energy benchmarking and the resources available at local and national level to do all these steps. So some participants have used or have started using benchmarking at organizational level. They are setting energy use intensity and greenhouse gas intensity targets. They are informing their energy audits and prioritizing their buildings based on these targets. Uh, Manitoba Liquor and Lotteries was one such participant that have extensively used data from Energy Star Portfolio Manager to upgrade their buildings and bring them to a certain energy use intensity level. Some participant testimony. Many properties in Canada are not eligible for Energy Star score. That makes comparison in different climates, for example, Winnipeg and Vancouver, difficult and unfair. This project really focuses on buildings within Winnipeg, so it gives a fair comparison and fair performance data. Some lessons learned is that leveraging the auto upload function that Manitoba Hydro provides is really essential, especially when the project expands. So far, there is no auto upload function for multi-tenant properties in Manitoba, and we enrolled a few multi-tenant properties in the project, and the process was quite cumbersome in cleaning data and aligning it, and it is error prone. Uh, Complete performance data enables easier building to building comparison. Again, for some buildings, metrics such as year of construction were not available, although that doesn't really affect the energy use intensity, but it does help in overall data categorization and quality checks. So the the fuller the data, the better for analysis and results. And as I mentioned earlier, to encourage participation and for better participation, uh, benchmarking support, and resources are critical when it comes to a voluntary program. For next steps, year two enrollment for new participants has already started. City of Winnipeg will explore the auto utility data upload feature with Manitoba Hydro for multi-tenant buildings. Um, Continued support and alignment with cities' climate action plan and provincial goals and targets, as well as continued support to participants for benchmarking activities will be provided. And thank you. That was my presentation. To learn more, please contact the Office of Sustainability.